Good morning and welcome to our final day of virtual orientation. Today's schedule includes financing your future with the business office and financial aid. The 12 p.m. Q&A session is informal and it's specifically designed for guests to pop in and out with any questions that you might have. And now it's time for our Friday giveaway. Congratulations to Haley Boken. You have won a St. Mary's prize pack, and Jim Shudo will be reaching out to you for some additional information. So congratulations. Without further ado, I will now turn this over to Tony San Nicolas and Lori Klezos for our presentation this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jen. Good morning and welcome to the financial wellness presentation of today's program. My name is Lori Klezos. I am the Director of Student Accounts in the Business Office. Presenting with me today is Tony St. Nicholas, the Assistant Director of Financial Aid. We will both give you very important information that will help you guide through the first semester at St. Mary's and actually the first year at St. Mary's. I also wanted to mention that our offices are open and available in the days and weeks ahead if other questions pop up after today's program. Before we dive into the presentation, we thought it would be helpful to give you some general information up front. Our offices are located right next to each other. We're not in the same building, but we are next door to each other. Financial Aid is in Brother Jerome West. Their office hours are 8:30 to 5 p.m. The business office is right next door, Philippi Administrative Hall. We are also open 8:30 to 5 p.m. During the summer, we do close 1 hour early on Friday. So if you are trying to contact us on Friday through August 15th, please do so by 4 p.m. Things to take from today. We will go over our office functions, managing your account, and your payment options, whether you are paying through financial aid, on our payment plan, or just out of pocket. In order to guarantee a smooth semester, it does help to know what's coming up. Here are some important dates that will help you in the weeks ahead. July 6th is when we will launch our fall bill. It's an e-bill, it's an electronic bill. We do not mail paper bills. Students, if you can get us your photo for your student ID card by July 15th, this will ensure an ID card to be available by the start of the semester. Two very important dates, August 7th and August 18th. August 7th is our payment due date. So you will receive the e-bill on July 6th and it's due on August 7th. August 18th is the insurance waiver deadline. If any of you attended the health and wellness sessions on Wednesday, they did go over the health insurance, and I will also talk a bit more about it in a couple of slides ahead. August 18th is the deadline to waive if you have comparable health insurance. Classes for fall begin August 24th. The next two dates are helpful, students, for you to know and to check to ensure you have no holds on your account. You will be blocked from registration if you have a hold. So it's good to check for holds before September 28th and before November 2nd. There is a link on Gale Express under the registration portion that says My Holds and Approvals. You can check that every day if you want, but a couple of times a month should suffice, especially before registration periods. December 7th is when we expect to launch the spring bills, and it will be due on January 8th, 2021. For families that really like to plan ahead, a good rule of thumb is we always bill in early July for fall, and it's due in early December for spring, and it's due in early January. Tony will now go over the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act.
Thank you, Lori. And so Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, also called FERPA, is basically the form that needs to be completed by the student to authorize who can look at their information and what particular information can be reviewed. And the student can designate anyone. It's typically the parent, but a grandparent, family friend, whoever the student deems they want to know about their information. And you can also designate specific information. So typically it's academics, account, financial information. You can pick and choose what you choose for a particular person or persons to know. Most students will just kind of do everything, but you, the student, have the right to do whatever you see fit. And this is part, I know there were some previous webinars where they talked about, transitioning to being adults for college. This is part of that. It's the student's responsibility to do this form and complete it. It's very important that students complete this form. I've had these, doesn't happen very often, but what can happen is we could be talking to the students' parents about financial aid, the student of business accounts, all summer long. We've got to know each other's family plans, where we're talking about personal stuff, where we're doing everything, including information about the student. Come that first day, though, when enrollment is formal, if the parent or whoever is not on that form, we cannot talk to that person anymore. So I've had to have, doesn't happen very often, but I have a conversation where, I'm sorry, I know we've been talking all summer, but I can't speak to you anymore because you are not on the FERPA form. So very important that students designate whoever they choose to designate on this form and designate specific information that they want to be divulged to those individuals. And I'll be back to do my presentation. You'll be back to Lori for a little bit.
Okay, the medical insurance. All full-time undergraduate students are required to have medical insurance. This is very common at most four-year colleges and universities. St. Mary's provides medical coverage automatically through Anthem Blue Cross. So right now, students, you are all enrolled in the school-sponsored insurance with Anthem Blue Cross. The 2020-21 health insurance charge is $3,597. We bill it twice. So you will see half of it on your fall bill, $1798.50, and half on your spring bill. You are eligible to waive the insurance if you have comparable coverage of your own. The waiver is done through our partner, JCB. So you would go to www.jcbins.com and upload your medical insurance card. The thing to remember is the deadline to waive the coverage is August 18th. This is a firm deadline. There is no opportunity to waive out in the spring semester. Our open enrollment period at St. Mary's is mid-May through mid-August. It's 3 months. If you miss that open enrollment period, you cannot waive again in January. It's a one-time waiver. So if you have health insurance through your parents and it is comparable coverage and you would like to opt out of the school insurance, please ensure that you do so by August 18th. Anybody who's already waived out, you will not see this charge on your fall bill at all. If you haven't waived but you plan to, you don't have to pay the $1798.50, which is the first half of the premium. Parents that are in this presentation, I have heard from other families that the school insurance is actually more reasonable than their employer insurance. It comes to about $300 a month. So before you waive it, you may want to just do some research and see which one would benefit your family. Another type of insurance, this is voluntary insurance. This is not required. This is optional. It is tuition insurance through GradGuard. The tuition refund policy at St. Mary's only takes you up to the 4th week of the semester. Any student who withdraws in week 1, 2, 3, or 4 will get a partial tuition refund, up to 75%. If a student withdraws in week 5, there is no tuition refund. You are on the hook for the full flat rate tuition for fall, which is $25,230. So this is where tuition insurance comes in handy. If you know now that you have some sort of condition that may prevent you from finishing the semester, you may want to consider the tuition insurance. This is only for medical issues, mental or physical. It cannot be that you're withdrawing because you do not like your class schedule or your roommate is transferring. It has to be a documented medical issue. If you're interested in the GradGuard tuition insurance, you must enroll before the first day of the semester, so by August 23rd. Please call them at 877-794-6603 if you're interested. Tony will now go into more details about the financial aid process.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, so what's happened so far for everyone? Everyone submitted their 2021 FAFSA, included the school code, and that's how we were able to see that information. Students would have received any of their Cal Grant notification directly from CSAC, and CSAC is the organization that oversees Cal Grant, and they would have notified the California students directly before they even informed the particular schools. You receive email notification of your financial aid awards, and you viewed those on your financial aid Gale Express. Just want to put out there if anybody's concerned because they have not, this has not happened for them or some of it has happened. It's okay, we still have a couple of months. This is the majority of the people have gone through this. If you are the exception, it's okay. Just make sure to contact our office and we can help follow up and help you with any of the documents and update you on anything that needs to be done. Okay, so on the awards, you'll see students will see direct loans, parents will see direct loans as part of their awards. And it's broken down by freshmen, sophomore, and juniors. This is what they're allocated each term. That's the maximum for dependent, independent students for each term. Most students will be under the dependent line. So most students, being the freshman orientation, will be eligible for $5,500 between two types of loans. And that would be the subsidized loan, which is a need-based loan, and there's no interest for that loan while you're in school. It does not accrue until the student goes into repayment after they graduate from the program. Unsubsidized loans are non-need based and interest is accruing while the student is in school. Those are the interest rates for the loans right now. And the total aggregate limit over the lifetime of a student they can borrow is $31,000. Now, if you go through the normal progression, it actually just comes to about $25,500. So you'll be okay as long as you graduate within the 4 years. And the maximum amount of subsidized has to be $23,000 maximum. All right, accepting those loans. So you'll see it on your Gale Express. So the first thing is you're going to do is you're going to accept them, decline them, whatever you choose to do. And when you go on the Gale Express, there's basically a drop down, and you can choose one of those choices. And if you wanted to click accept if you are going to do those loans. And then it directs you to do two items. And this is through our physical documentation as well as online. You want to complete your master promissory note and your loan entrance counseling at studentloans.gov. Master promissory note is for any loan that you may take out in your lifetime. It's basically your commitment saying that you are going to pay back the loan. The entrance counseling. This is basically a brief tutorial that a student takes to understand their rights and responsibilities for the loans. Federal government wants to make sure you understand what your role is, when they have to be paid back, what your interest rates. This reviews all of that with you. And I do want to put it out there now, when you log on to this, it'll look like a test, but it's not a test. You basically will read, it'll ask you a few questions. Even if you answer those questions incorrectly, all it's going to say is please go back and read the information, okay? The point is just that you get the information and you understand it all. I want to speak to this specifically at the bottom. All items 1 through 3 must be completed for estimated or pending funds to be released by federal government to the college as aid to your account. Okay, so this is I'm doing this. I see Lori smiling because she knows where I'm going with this. So what happens is you guys are going to see your awards at the beginning, and it's going to say pending aid. If you've done everything you need to do, that pending aid is going to say 0, and you're going to be, oh, good, I'm good for the term. But if you do not complete all these 3 steps, that pending aid will never convert to actual aid. So that what will happen is those dates that we talked about when it's time to register, you won't be able to because you have not completed all the steps. And so that aid is not converted to actual aid. And for the business office, at that point, several weeks into the semester, they're saying we actually need the funds paid to the account. So very important that you complete all 3 of these steps to make sure that your loans pay out. Any questions about this? If you're not sure if you did it, how to do it, please contact our office and we'll definitely help you. All right, and so the other loan option is available, and it's on the award letter for those that are applicable, are direct parent loans. And these are basically loans the parent can take to supplement what the student's other awards are. So we're going to take into account students' grants, scholarships, loans, etc. And for the remaining cost of attendance, and what cost of attendance is basically the cost of attending school: tuition, housing, books, day-to-day living expenses. So this parent loan is a way to bridge that gap and help fund that balance there. And so you can apply, and the directions are there. And again, if any questions, just reach out to us. But you can apply. It's going to let you know in real time, right when you're done with the application, if you're approved. There's just a couple of online items that need to be done after that, and this loan can fund to help fund your student for school. If you end up doing the maximum, which we typically suggest, not only will it cover direct costs on your bill, but it'll actually generate a small refund, it's usually $1,500 to $2,500 for each semester, that will be reimbursed and refunded to the student, to the parent, and the parent can then use that to give to the student to pay for day-to-day, week-to-week expenses while they're in school. Satisfactory academic progress. So this is very important. So students need to meet this SAP to reach their degree, and there is requirements to meet that goal. So one is a very common one that people are familiar with, the minimum cumulative GPA of at least 2.0. So you want to make sure you meet that so that you can continue to get financial aid. Now the other piece is the minimum 7.25 units to complete each academic year. So this is going to segue to stuff that Lori's going to speak about later. But what you're going to learn is, so what you want to do is for fall, you want to take 4 units, Jan term 1 unit, spring 4 units. You do that, that's 9 per units per year, times 4 years is 36 units, which is what is required to graduate from the program at St. Mary's College. So we want to make sure, ideally, you're keeping to that 9 units per term at least, okay? Things happen, we understand, so if you need to drop course here and there, do what you need to do. Just make sure you do not fall below 7.25 for the academic year, because then you would be not meeting SAP requirements. So the big key here is, even if you're meeting SAP, let's say you're able to get 7.5 units each term. You're still meeting SAP, you're still doing what you need to do to qualify for aid. But let's go back to my math. 7.5 times 4 you're looking at 30 units that you've completed, and you would still have a semester left of school to do, and you may have run out of aid at that point. So it's very important not only that you're still meeting SAP in general, but try to, as much as you can, stay on track for the 9 units per term, okay? I don't want to alarm anybody with this too much. There is an appeal process, which if you are approved, even if you fall under the SAP program policy, that you can still receive aid. How it works is you do the appeal, and I don't want to say that they're guaranteed, but more often than not, especially for our freshman students, we can qualify them for the appeal. And then you do what you need to do per the appeal, you get back on track, and then you can not only receive aid for that term on a probationary period, but continue to receive aid moving forward. Which we really want to avoid is you do the probationary period one time and then you fall on SAP again. That's when can still even then get you aid, but it gets a little more involved. So again, there is an appeal process if you fall under this, but we want to make sure we do everything we can to meet SAP on a semester to semester, academic year to academic year basis. All right, so financial literacy and default management. We have some great resources that are completely free to our students. iGrad is great. It's very interactive. There's games on it, and it teaches you everything about saving, credit reporting, improving your credit, understanding credit. It actually even has some information about online resume building, interviewing for when you actually graduate from the program. But it's a great resource and a very interactive resource to help you understand finances overall. And then ECMC is basically what we call our liaison to our servicer, okay? So when you graduate from your program, if you have taken out any loans, federal government will issue you a servicer that you will end up paying your loans back to. You can definitely contact your servicer directly when you get to that point, or even previously if you have questions. But ECMC, if you have any concerns or you want to get connected previously, before, even while you're in school with your servicer, you can contact ECMC and they can make that connection for you. Some important reminders. So verification. So what happens is the federal government will select X amount of a school population for verification of the financial aid information. It's usually about 25 to 35% of the student population. And they're just kind of confirmed that the FAFSA was completed accurately. We send out emails and letters of who was selected. And by the way, those letters went out this week. So if this is applicable to you, you will see those letters in the next week or so, okay? It's important that you get those documents, complete what needs to be completed, submit what needs to be completed, because aid will not be dispersed until all those required documents are submitted. Basically, the federal government is saying, we just want confirmation of this information. Once you get it to us, then they'll allow us to fund your funding to the school from their sources as well as the institutional sources. Sometimes when students and parents get this, they're concerned that they may have gotten the wrong information, what's gonna happen to them. Do not worry about that. They just want to confirm the information and that it's correct. Even if you did make a mistake, did incorrectly, that's okay. The point is that's why they want to fix it and make sure it's the right information and then get submitted so that the information is accurate. All right, and lastly, dropping classes in special circumstances. Okay, so dropping below full-time could affect your financial aid. So please contact us and or your academic advisors before dropping any courses, okay? So in most cases, quite frankly, we'll be able to keep your financial aid in place. But in some circumstances, depending on how many courses you drop, it could be that you are no longer eligible for all of the aid or a portion of the aid. So we want to make sure that we have these conversations before you actually would drop the course. So please reach out to us so we can help you make a more informed decision. Special circumstances. So if your family has financial situation that has changed drastically from completing the FAFSA, let us know. Now, we are well aware with everything that's going on with COVID, our number of appeals this year, I'd say, is tripled, and much is due to COVID, okay? So this is a means that to say, hey, FAFSA information looked at 2 years ago, this is my information now, and this is what has changed. So basically what you would do is you would just submit a statement, any supporting documentation, and submit it to the financial aid office through our general email. And then from there, we can review the information. I do want to be perfectly transparent about, because of the volume that we're getting, we're talking about 4 to 6 weeks before you're getting a response. So if you submitted one previously, know that that's the timing. If you're going to submit one, go ahead and submit one. Just know that, again, that's the timing. And what we suggest in the meantime is that you just use the awards that's in front of you that you were initially awarded to make your plans. So make plans for that, to pay the balances, to set up loans, etc. And then when the appeal comes through, if it has been approved and we're able to adjust and offer you more aid, we can do that at that time. Okay, so we're not necessarily waiting for that information to happen. So I'm going to turn it back over to Lori for the business office. I am sticking around, so I know we'll have questions afterwards, and I'll still be available for that particular to financial aid.
Thanks, Tony. So the business office primarily manages your bills and your payments. We also process any refunds if applicable, and we produce your student ID cards. The big distinction between financial aid and student accounts is the financial aid office will determine your eligibility and award you a package. The business office will then disperse the funds onto your student account. It comes in as a payment. If you are receiving excess proceeds from federal aid, Title IV funding, you will automatically receive a refund. By law, we refund any excess proceeds from federal funding. That's usually the federal loans, Parent Plus loan. Parents, if you are borrowing a loan, the refund will be payable to you, not to your student. So just keep that in mind in case you were expecting them to get the refund for their books. If you are getting a refund just from an overpayment, that does have to be requested. Let's just assume you paid your bill by August 7th and then you waived out of school insurance. So now we have a credit on your account. You just submit a refund request and we will process the refund for you. Students, it really helps to know the ins and outs of your student account. You pretty much are driving the bus. Every student has access to the Student Account Center, and this is where you view your e-bill. You can set up an authorized user, and I will go into more details about that, but basically the bill goes to the student unless the student has set up an authorized user. You can pay your bill through the Student Account Center, pay a deposit, and enroll in the monthly payment plan. In order to access the Student Account Center, students, you have to be on My SMC and you click on Gale Express. You've probably heard all week long about Gale Express. Well, here it is again. Gale Express is how you log into the Student Account Center. This is also where you can go to check my holds and approvals. You can also accept or reject your financial aid award through Gale Express. This is only for students. Parents, you don't go on through Gale Express to view the bill. If you're set up as an authorized user, you will have a separate link. Students, you go on through Gale Express. This is what it will look like. You will log in and click on the current student menu. You'll see at the the top of the screen that Gale Express is actually used by faculty and employees as well. For your purposes, you would click on Current Students, and then a menu pops up. Student Account Center is over on the right. And again, you'll see on the left, Financial Aid Office. That's where you can accept or reject your award. To get on the Student Account Center, you would click on Student Account Center. The first time you log in, students, an electronic consent form will pop up. This will display once a year. Every 365 days, we will have you go over our policies and procedures and agree to the electronic consent. We just want you to be aware of the procedures and the terms and conditions of being a student at St. Mary's. So that will not show up every time you log in or every semester. It does show up every year though. A good first step when you do log in is to set up an authorized user. We do encourage all students to set up at least one parent as an authorized user. You can do both parents, you can do aunts, uncles, godparents. Some of our older students have their spouses and employers set up as authorized users, but we do recommend that at least one other person is getting the bill. If you don't set up any authorized users, you're the only one that will receive the bill, students. Your parents will not know that a bill is available for viewing. It only goes to the student unless an authorized user profile is set up. In order to do that, you just click on the Add Authorized User button. You enter your parents' or the authorized user's email address, and then it's going to ask you two questions. Would you like to allow this person to view your bill? You should say yes. Would you like to allow this person to view your payment history? Again, say yes. That's the whole point of giving them access. Parents, when you are set up as an authorized user, you have access to the billing, the payment history, account history. This does not give you access to their grades or their course schedule. It really is just everything involving the bill and payment. When you're set up, parents, you will access the Student Account Center from that link at the bottom where it says secure.touchnet.net. You can certainly bookmark that into something a little bit more intuitive, My St. Mary's e-bill or authorized user link. But that is how you get on to view the bill, not through Gale Express. We do often get calls from parents trying to log in and their password's not working. And after troubleshooting, we realize they're trying to go onto the student portal through Gale Express. That's only for students. Parents, you go on secure.touchnet.net, and that link will be emailed to you every single time a bill is launched. It's also on our home pages. So you're going to get it in numerous different ways. When you are set up as an authorized user, you will get two emails. One of them will have a generic password for you to use the first time you log in, and then you can change it to whatever you want to use from that point forward. Let's look at an example of an account. When you're on the Student Account Center, the top portion is a summary. It'll give you your balance, any estimated or pending financial aid, and then any net balance of the two. On the bottom, that is where your statements will display. And it is actually, you really should look at the statements because that will itemize what the balance is comprised of. That is where you will see the tuition charge, $25,230. The activity fee, room and board, medical insurance. So don't just look at the summary part of it. Do look at the statement because it is for your review first and foremost. The estimated financial aid portion, will show the aid that's been offered to you but has not yet posted. So Tony alluded to this earlier. The aid will not post until you do the master promissory note, you complete the entrance test, you're registered for the federally mandated unit load. So there are checks and balances before financial aid can actually disperse. Prior to the disbursement, it's just pending, it's just estimated. So that's what you will see in that field, the estimated aid. Anybody who's applied for financial aid, when you get your July 6th bill, all of your aid will be estimated. Nothing disperses in July. That is way too early. The aid will post if you've completed all the checks and balances when the semester begins. So everyone will have the estimated financial aid if you've applied for aid. That number will reflect the difference between your balance and any financial aid. So in this case, in this example, it's a negative number. The student has financial aid in excess of his or her balance. So they may get a refund if they do what's required to get that aid to post to the student account. As I mentioned, please do look at the actual e-bill. It is in a PDF. It's very easy to read. All of your charges will be on one side and the credits will be on another, but it is for your review. So for instance, if anybody waived the insurance, but you get the bill on July 6th and there's the insurance premium, right now you know something went wrong. So look at the bill. It will reflect your tuition, your room and board, your fees. It'll show your pending financial aid, your deposit that you made. It's for your review first and foremost, and you don't see that detail in the top portion of the Student Account Center homepage. If you have a negative number up front in that balance field, that indicates it's a credit on your account and no payment is due. You do not have to pay anything at all by August 7th or any other subsequent bills that you may receive. A negative number is a credit balance. If there's a negative number in the balance including estimated aid, this means that there may be a refund, but there's still some work required. And again, this is where the master promissory note comes into play. The entrance counseling test comes into play. If you're only registered for one class, the aid will not post. So this is where you have to make sure you've done all that's required for the estimated or pending aid to turn into actual aid and become a payment on your account. If there's a positive balance, this means there is a payment due. So what then? Well, there are many ways you can pay. Of course, you can pay through financial aid, and you will see that in that estimated financial aid portion. But if there's still a balance due, you can pay with cash or check at the business office. We are open even during the restrictions. We do have social distancing rules and regulations, but if you live locally, you're welcome to come in with cash or with a check. You can mail a check, make all checks payable to St. Mary's College. Our mailing address is 1928 St. Mary's Road, PMB 4600. That is the most important piece of information in our address. Every office has 1928 St. Mary's Road as their mailing address. If you don't put PMB 4600, your payment could end up in the science department or performing arts department. Someone may think it's a donation. So you want to make sure PMB, that stands for private mailbox, PMB 4600, and that'll come right to the cashier's student account. An e-check payment is our most popular way of paying. This is done through the Student Account Center. You just click on the green Make Payment button. You do now have to know how to make an e-check payment. So this is where you're entering the routing number and the account number. If you are paying out of a checking account, the routing number is the string of numbers, the first 9 digits on the bottom of your checks. If you're paying out of a savings account, you will have to get the routing number from your bank or online. But an e-check is routing number and account number, and it comes right out of your checking account as if you used your debit card. Another popular method of paying is the payment plan. We have a 5-month payment plan and a 4-month payment plan. Right now, the 5-month payment plan is still open. Anybody that would like to join the 5-month payment plan, you have about 4 days to do so. It'll shut down on June 30th. There's a $75 setup fee per semester. The 5-month plan has installments running from June through October. It's June 15th, July 15th, August, September, and October 15th. So even though the first installment was due June 15th, you are welcome to still jump on for the month of June. You will have to pay the June installment along with the $75 enrollment fee up front, and then all of your other installments will be due on the 15th of the month. If you would like to wait for your bill so you actually can see really what's happening, you can go on the 4-month plan, and that's July 15th, August 15th, September 15th, and October 15th. Please note, we do not take credit cards or debit cards as a form of payment for tuition and fees. But like I said, if you're making an e-check payment, that is like using a debit card. It comes right out of your checking account. Instead of entering the 16-digit debit card number, you have to know your routing number and account number. Once you know it, though, you're good to go and you can save it in the system. So let's look at the payment plan a little bit. Anybody who wants to join the payment plan, it's open now for 5 months or 4 months. You would go on the Student Account Center, you will click on Enroll in Payment Plan, and then select Fall Semester 2020. If you're joining the 5-month plan, you will have to pay the enrollment fee and the June 15th installment at the time you set up the plan. A worksheet will pop up, and this could get confusing. So please feel free to contact us for assistance. But actually, anybody interested, I'm going to give you a lot of the figures to enter right now. Anybody who wants to go on the payment plan, the tuition at St. Mary's is billed in a band. It is a flat rate. The fall charge is $25,230. So basically, you're paying $50,460 for tuition for the 2020-2021 school year. That tuition buys you 9.75 classes, 4 1/4, 1 1/4, 4 1/4. As Tony mentioned, we really hope you do take 4 1/4. When we see students taking 313, they're not getting any discount on tuition. They are still being billed the full flat rate. They also may jeopardize their graduation date. They may have to come back for a final semester. They may be a part-time student and they're not eligible for aid. Our part-time rate, by the way, right now is $6,308 for just one class. So please try to stay on track. 414. You do get a quarter credit for free, so it's really 4 1/4, 1 1/4, 4 1/4. But for the first box, everybody who wants to go on the payment plan who hasn't already enrolled, $25,230 is the amount you would put there. Activity fee is $100. That's charged to every student. So you would enter 100. Room and board is where it gets a little bit more customized. We don't know what room you're going to select. So if you know, go ahead and put in that amount. The amounts are also on our tuition and fees pages. If you're not sure, you can certainly put in a double or put it in single, and we can always true up later. But if you just want to get started on the payment plan, you're welcome to just put in what you think you're going to be assigned to. And if that ends up not being correct, we can change it. The supercharged flex, you can skip over that. That's just additional money for your meals, but you don't know now if you want it or not, so you don't have to enter anything there. Medical insurance, as I mentioned, the fall half is $1798.50. If you've waived or if you know you're going to waive out, leave it blank. Just skip right over it. Lab material fees. This is also something that we don't really know right now. You have to be enrolled in real classes for us to know what fees are associated with the class. And no one's going to be registered in real classes till the end of July. So you can leave it blank. Some families just pad it a little bit and put in, $60. Not all classes have fees. Some have fees. They could be $30. They could be $200. So we really don't know. And it's fine to leave that blank. For the purposes of the payment plan, it's just to help you get started with payments and not to worry about the smaller fees that may pop up. We can always adjust your payment plan at a later date, or you can just pay in full for any fees that pop up. The new student fee is $300. That's what you would enter there. This is a one-time charge for new students. You will not have to do this in the spring semester or any other semester. And the $30 registration fee. So right off the bat, we have the $25,230, $100 activity fee, medical insurance if you're going to stay on the plan, $300 new student fee, $30 registration fee. Those are given to you. Over on the credit side, the financial aid piece, you can get this off of your award letter. Just make sure you're putting in your fall financial aid, not the full award for the year, just the fall portion. And then most of you have made a $650 deposit. $300 is the only thing that will be allocated for fall. The remaining $350, if you're living on campus, will be allocated on your spring bill. So go ahead and put a $300 there, and then you would update schedule, and everything will parse out into 5 installments. Same thing will happen if you are on the 4-month plan. That will open on July 1st, but everything will parse into 4 installments. The installments end on October 15th because the spring payment plan starts on November 15th. And again, if anybody is confused, feel free to contact us and we can walk through your specific situation with you one-on-one. You're able to set up recurring payments or automatic payments if you don't want to go in every month and pay on the 15th. You can select, yes, I want to set up my payments, and it just allows you to enter your routing number and account number and schedule it for the 15th of each month. If you don't want to do that, you certainly don't have to. Just try to remember to pay it on the 15th of the month. A few other important functions that are managed by Business Office Student Accounts Department are the refunds and student ID cards. All refunds are produced by the Student Accounts Department. We do refunds twice a week. Students, anybody expecting a refund, you are able to set up e-reimbursement direct deposit. That can be done through Gale Express. Parents, if you are getting a Parent Plus loan refund, that will just be sent to you automatically. You don't even have to request a refund. All federal Title IV proceeds that create a credit will be refunded automatically. We don't have direct deposit set up for parents, so it would just be a good old-fashioned check mailed to you. The refunds and the ID cards are not accessed through the Student Account Center. You get that just from our web pages. There are the two links, request a refund and student ID card. So you can just go in there and complete the form. Those are two functions that you cannot do on the Student Account Center, but you do it just on our web pages, stmarys-ca.edu/tuition-fees. Students, please try to get us your photo by July 15th so we can get you your ID card on time. Your student ID card gives you many privileges. It's very important, actually. It's kind of like a passport when you're traveling to a foreign country. That passport is vital. It's giving you access to that country. It's your reason for being there legally. Student ID cards are similar. That's your permission to be on campus, and it gives you access to the dining hall, access to the rec center, checking out books at the library. You will have access to sporting and theater events. It gives you free rides on the County Connection bus route, and you can also get discounts at participating businesses. So it's really an important piece of information to have with you. Please treat it like you would your driver's license or a credit card. If you do lose it or it gets damaged, there is a $25 replacement fee. So do take care of it as you would your driver's license. Okay, before we wrap it up, a few reminders. Don't forget to check your St. Mary's email account, students. That is our primary method of communicating. I'm sure you've heard it from many different offices throughout this whole week. We do not store personal emails, so everything is sent to your St. Mary's email account. Don't forget to waive the medical insurance if you want to. Anybody wanting to keep the Anthem Blue Cross insurance, you don't have to take any action at all. You're automatically enrolled. The coverage starts August 1st and it runs through July 31st, 2021. So it is full, real coverage. It's not just for the academic year. It is 12-month coverage. It'll start August 1st. If you do want to waive, August 18th is a firm deadline, and there will be no opportunity to waive in any other month. Don't forget to upload your headshot for your student ID card, students. Please make sure that it is a visible picture of your face and not covered by a mask or a hat or sunglasses. Don't forget to stay enrolled in 4 classes. Actually, it's 4 1/4, 1 1/4, 4 1/4 that you are getting within the flat rate tuition. Not 313, not 413, 414. Take advantage of the flat rate. Don't forget to check my holds and approvals. This is useful before registration periods. You may have a 0 balance and not realize that you have a health center hold or an advising hold. There are other types of holds other than financial. So check my holds and approvals a couple of times a month should suffice. There is voluntary tuition insurance available. If anybody has a concern about withdrawing because of a health issue. Again, this is only for health issues, not anything personal. You must enroll in the tuition insurance plan prior to the first day of the semester. And don't forget to contact us if you need assistance with any of the information you've heard today or anything that may pop up in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you very much for sitting through this financial wellness presentation. And I think we're opening it up for some questions right now.
Thank you, Lori and Tony. We are open for questions, so I'll go through the chat and provide you some. How often, the first one is, how often does tuition usually increase?
Historically, tuition goes up every academic year. So this year you're locked into the $50,460. Next year, when you're a sophomore, it may go up. Usually it goes up anywhere between 2% and 4% a year. But it is usually an annual review by our Board of Trustees and the Board of Regents and a bunch of other people that would determine the new tuition rate.
Thank you. The next question is, how are outside scholarships posted to the student account?
So I'll start with my piece of that. So typically checks come directly to the school. They're issued by whatever organization is issuing them. We actually will record the information here in the financial aid office and then move the checks directly over to the business office to formally pay the account. What we'll do on the financial aid piece is apply that to your account. And just so you're aware, what we will do, the term we use in financial aid is best money first. Free money being the best of all, right? So let's say you have everything set up. You have your scholarships and grants that were on your original award letter. You have your loans, and mom and dad took out a parent loan to cover the rest. And then you get a $3,000 outside scholarship from an organization that you applied for. We'll apply that $3,000 to your account, and depending on the thing, but typically if you're at cost of attendance at the limit, what we will end up doing is reducing the loans accordingly so that we can, again, use the free money first and reduce your loan or your parents' loan responsibility accordingly. And then again, so then we would, after that piece is done, we send the check directly over to the business office.
Great, thank you. And then related to this, does the school directly receive the Cal Grant and FAFSA money, or is there extra steps the student has to take?
Great question. Any aid that you're seeing that is to be issued federal, state services, anything like that, more often than not is going to come to the school, okay? I'd say 97, 98% of the time. And the reason why I say that is Cal Grant does have this piece that's called an access piece if you get the Cal Grant B. Now, technically, for some schools, that actually would go directly to the student. But what happens, quite frankly, with St. Mary's College is because of our cost of attendance, our tuition and so forth, that access typically gets absorbed when it comes and hits the school account. So then we just apply it directly to your account in that fashion. So again, more often than not, everything's going to come to the school directly. You very rarely will get a check that comes directly to you. If you ever have any questions about that, please just contact us and we'll clarify for you. But more often than not, all funding, federal, state, or otherwise, is going to come directly to the school.
Thank you. There's several questions regarding the payment plan. What would be your recommendations as to when they should file for it? When will it be live? If they're waiting for an appeal, should they still start it and then adjust as needed? Kind of the parameters around the payment plans.
If you're interested in the payment plan, again, it is completely voluntary. If you're interested in the payment plan, I would say, yes, let's get started on it. And we can always true up later. We already know what your tuition is. You will know very soon what your room and board selection is. We can get a pretty good estimate right now. And then we can certainly adjust it in the months ahead. But just to get you started so that you don't have one big payment due on August 7th, it helps to have the payment plan defer the balance out over 5 months. If you want to wait for the bill so you kind of really see what's due, that's fine. You can go on the 4-month plan. No one has to go on the 5-month plan right now. You can go on the 4-month plan when you get the bill. If you get the bill and you have a lot of financial aid and your balance is $500, you may not need the payment plan at all. Why would you spend $75 to set up a $500 balance? So it helps to have the bill, but you don't have to, since we have a pretty good idea of what your account will look like.
And Jim,
Yeah,
I
please.
wanted to piggyback on the piece about I'm waiting for an appeal or I'm submitting an appeal. Again, I would suggest, as your award letter exists that you have in front of you, and the bill as it is in front of you, so take that and make payment plans or just a flat payment for whatever that says to you. Because again, the appeal process, number one, quite frankly, is not guaranteed. But even if it is approved, the timing of what we're looking at right now is significant, several weeks before we're able to review those. So we would hate for you to miss, as Lori said, a month or two of the payment plans waiting for that. And again, if we do get a thing that's approved, what ends up happening is we end up the payment plans and or your aid, your loans could be adjusted accordingly to reduce that moving forward if you do get additional aid.
And by the way, anybody who is receiving federal work study as part of your award, this is not considered part of the pending or estimated aid. So we don't even look at that. You have to find a job. We don't know what your hours are. You get paid directly. You can always put your payments towards your student account, but don't include any work study award as part of your estimated or pending aid. It won't even show up on your bill. So I don't want you to put it into the payment plan if you are receiving federal work study funding.
Thank you. There were several questions regarding FERPA and where to find it. We've placed a link in the chat, so please check there, and that will get you to the website that has all the information. Tony, is there a due date to accept or decline items on the financial aid award letter?
I would say the deadline I would target is at least 2 weeks prior to the start of term. That would allow us the time to process what you completed so that it can formally pay out at the beginning of the term. With all that said, ASAP is what I suggest. Complete those documents now. So let me put this out there, because I know what can happen is a family, they may be reluctant to apply for the PLUS loan because they're not sure of the cost, or maybe they are getting family maybe helping at some point. They just haven't had that conversation yet, so they're not sure how much to borrow. Or quite frankly, sometimes we get students who they're concerned, what if I don't actually attend? What I can tell you is this is why, although we're completing all these documents now, funds do not disperse until typically the week of or a week prior to school. Number one, it's a federal regulation that happens, but a piece of that is because if you don't attend, don't worry about it. If you don't end up attending, all those documents that you completed for this loan or that loan, if you don't actually attend, none of that actually goes through. That's one of the checks, is what will happen at the beginning of the term is we will confirm enrollment, and only those that are enrolled is when we will push that funding through. Okay, so again, I would say minimum 2 weeks prior to the term, but I would suggest again, ASAP to complete any documents.
Thank you. Lori, a question regarding credits on a student's account. Would that be able to be rolled over to the following semester to help pay the next semester's tuition?
If it's federal Title IV funding, again, we're bound by federal law, we are required to refund any excess proceeds. So we would issue you a refund, but you are welcome to turn around, just sign the back of the refund, mail it back to us, and we will post it as a payment. If it's a credit from something else, usually what creates a credit are loans, but if you have, say, a private loan, We can use it for the spring semester as long as it's within the loan period. Most loan periods are August through May, the academic year, so that would be fine. But we have had situations where students took out a private loan for one semester. So the loan period ended in December, and we would not be able to use that.
Thank you. Lori, do you happen to know if the GradGuard tuition insurance covers medical issues from complications from COVID-19?
If it's a documented health issue, it should be fine. I would definitely call GradGuard. This is managed by a third party. But if it is a documented medical issue, yes, I believe it is covered. When you call GradGuard, you determine what policy you want to purchase. The premium is 1.25%. So if you're buying a policy of $10,000, you would pay $125. So you do have control over what you're purchasing, but do call them. I think it will cover any coronavirus issues. It just has to be a documented health issue. So if you've already seen a physician and that's on record, that should be okay.
Hey, Jim,
Yes.
can I jump in with something? I just had some notes from previous.
Yeah, of course, please.
You had mentioned the FERPA earlier. I did want to clarify because we'll get this confusion sometimes. So Lori spoke about the authorized user for the accounts. That is not the same as FERPA. Okay, they are very different items. Okay, so we've just have conversations. Oh, I know I filled that out. I was looking at his account, and then they're thinking they completed the FERPA, but they completed the student authorization or vice versa. So just clarify that those are two completely different items.
Thank you. There are several questions regarding 529s and how to utilize those funds. Maybe a quick little overview.
Yeah, so 529, you would make the holder would make a redemption with who has the 529 payment, whether it's a brokerage account or you make the redemption for whatever amount you want. They don't even usually ask for a statement or a bill or anything like that. And they send the funds directly to St. Mary's. So it's not, it doesn't go to you and then you send it to us. It does come directly to St. Mary's. Whoever is the holder of the 529, the parent, the grandparent, the godparent, makes the redemption, and then that agency will send the payment to St. Mary's College. 529s do take a little bit of time. So if you are making a redemption on your 529 plan, please don't do so on August 5th when the bill is due on August 7th, because you may end up with a large late fee for missing the deadline. Definitely do it when you get the bill July 6th. Do it shortly afterwards.
Thank you. There's several questions regarding the Cal grants. When will the estimated amount for the Cal grant become a solid offer? And then also there's a question indicating that the Cal grant website may be under maintenance right now. What should students and families be doing to help alleviate that issue?
Yeah, yes. Unfortunately, with everything going on, particularly Cal Grant, their website tends to go down periodically for maintenance. This is a time of year where they're also doing kind of reconciliation from the previous year. So that adds to it, but also because of staffing and just general IT issues, they are having it. Just be patient with that piece. Check back regularly with that website. And if you have any questions, contact us. As far as the estimated aid to actual aid, we typically, quite frankly, won't do that till sometime in the summer, usually August or so before the year. But I want to make sure students and parents understand, don't be too concerned with that piece, okay? Because this is what we do with the Cal Grant as an institution, okay? What we do is we will supplement aid not received from other sources, okay? So let's say your Cal Grant is estimated, you've been told all summer, all last year, you're getting the Cal Grant, okay? What we will do is we'll see that if that does not happen, if the Cal Grant for whatever reason says you are not eligible, you're not awarded, there was a mistake, do not worry about that. Contact our office, and more often than not, we as an institution will replace that aid with aid from the school. Not 100%, but more often than not, we will be able to do that. Okay? So to answer the initial question, it's typically first or second week of August that it actually goes from estimated to actual aid, but do not be concerned. More often than not, you are going to be awarded that estimated award. And even if you aren't, we as an institution will help to supplement that.
Great, thank you. And then just as a reminder, Tony, how do they go about if circumstances in their lives have changed and they want to notify financial aid of those circumstances? What's the process for that?
Great, and thank you, Kevin, for keeping our financial aid contact information there. So what you would do, and is you would include a statement of the situation in an email directly to that FinAid St. Mary's-ca.edu email. I would encourage you to say appeal information as the subject. Be sure to include your student ID in there, okay? That would be on your award letter. That way we could designate you, and then your name, of course, as well. And then a statement of the situation. My father actually lost his job due to COVID. He was making X amount, now he's making this amount, or maybe he's working partial, or he's not working anymore, whatever the case may be. Then you also want to submit any supporting documentation for the situation, okay? So in that case, it may be a layoff notice. It may be that he's getting unemployment benefits, how much that was. His last pay stub, anything that you can do to support whatever your statement of the situation is will help the process, okay? So again, you would email a statement, announce that it's appeal information in the subject, and then you would include your student ID, your name, a brief statement of the situation, and any supporting documentation, and of course, any contact information that we can contact you directly with follow-up. Oftentimes we can take that. That's why I encourage you to include as much supporting documentation as possible, because sometimes with that information, we can do a evaluation just based on that information. In some cases, and again, we'll let you know what these are, you just submit what you deem necessary, and we'll let you know, but sometimes we'll ask for more information if we need more, okay? So make sure you have the contact information as well. So that's what you want to do, is follow those steps to submit anything about special circumstances.
Great, thank you so much, both to Lori and Tony, for a fantastic session. As a reminder, all of these sessions will be on the orientation website. Once we get done with it, we go ahead and try to get them up as quick as possible for us. And so probably by the end of the day, this presentation will be up. That concludes our formal presentations for today. We thank you for joining us. There is another session at noon today from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. And this includes just an informal drop-in session where you can come and ask questions in and out however you so desire. There's no formal program, but Jennifer and myself will be on to help you with any questions that you have. There is also, for students, going to be a session with your orientation leaders that will immediately follow this, where they'll be contacting you just to go over everything, answer questions, and then punt you back to us. We do want to make sure that you are utilizing that orientation website. Make sure you're checking your St. Mary's email and all that good type of stuff. Before we do close out, however, I want an opportunity for the orientation leaders to introduce themselves. They've been on each and every one of these calls. They're emailing your students throughout the day and throughout the week, and will continue to throughout the summer. So what we're going to do is have each of the orientation leaders introduce themselves and they know the order that they're in, so they'll go into that order. And if they could provide their name, class year, and hometown, that would be great. And we'll start with our 2 orientation coordinators. Connor, start us off, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Connor Moss. I am a junior accounting major, and I am from Tustin, California.
Hi, all. My name is Sophia Swinsko. I'm a senior English major from Sacramento, California.
Hi, my name is Ariana Haar. I am a senior business marketing major from Moon Township, Pennsylvania, and Huntington Beach, California.
Hi, I'm Colette Huber. I am a senior communications major, and I am from San Diego, California.
Hi, I'm Jonah Kano. I'm a sophomore. I'm a business major, and I'm from Long Beach, California.
Hi, I'm Karina. I am a junior JCL major on the Misty track, and I am from Rancho Santa Margarita, California.
Hi, I'm Brent Dendalski. I'm a junior communication major, and I'm from Fullerton, California.
Hi, I'm Victoria Jacobo. I'm from Sacramento, California, and I'm a psychology major.
Hi, I'm Amelia Takanaga. I'm a senior marketing and global business major, and I'm from Modesto, California.
Hi, everyone. My name's Ali. I am a junior at St. Mary's, and I am a communications major, and I am from Fresno, California.
Hey, y'all. My name is Rachel Carrillo. I'm now a sophomore kinesiology major, and I'm from San Diego, California.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal Monroy. I'm from Long Beach. I'm a senior in the Integral program.
Hello, my name is Jeffrey Corey. I am a junior biochemistry major from Pleasanton, California.
Hi everyone, my name is Maya Marquez. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm from Brentwood, California, and this coming school semester, I will be a senior allied health science major. Woo! Women in STEM.
Hello, fellow Gales. My name is Julia Reshapo. I am from Alamo, California, and I am a senior communication major with a cinematic arts minor.
Hi, my name is Julian Villegas. I am a sophomore here at St. Mary's. I am a communication major with a theater minor, and I'm from Albany, California.
Awesome. Thank you all. So these great student leaders have been working since actually May. And it's been a really unique experience for all of us going virtual with this orientation, but through their dedication and their commitment, this has been a great experience, and they're keeping students well connected to the campus. And like I said, we'll continue to do that throughout the summer. St. Mary's College is over 157 years old. Over 157 years old. It's not often we're able to say we've done something new. However, a virtual orientation for all undergraduate students is definitely something new. So it's exciting that we're able to say that. I want to give a huge thank you to all of our presenters throughout the week who have been with us. And I'm going to do something a little crazy here at the end. We're going to give you a little behind the scenes of what this beautiful set is looking like. We are actually in Haggerty Lounge, which is in De La Salle Hall, one of our first year residence halls. Above us are 3 floors of student residence halls, and then we have a variety of offices down here. So we're going to get a little crazy right here, and you'll be able to see what's really going on in this room, and it's really as thin as you might imagine it to be. So there's Jen working our main computer. We awkwardly have a television screen that we are staring at and makes us all uncomfortable. Then over here, we have Adam Green, who is an absolute superstar for us from IT Services and has been with us this entire time. We really thank Adam for his expertise. Notice we are physically distanced from each other, not a whole lot. That's my little corner where I've been asking everyone questions from. And then last but certainly not least is Shelby, who is our student extraordinaire, who really runs everything, and she just tells us what to do. So again, 157 years. It's neat to be able to do something new. Again, for those of you who are interested and still have questions, we will be back at noon, very casual, to answer all of your questions. So thank you. We will talk to you many times throughout the summer. We can't wait to see you next time, either virtually or finally in person. Stay well, stay safe, and thank you for attending orientation.